So I thought it was interesting. There was a Washington Examiner article titled "Lack of Faith in Biden Drives Doomsday Prepping." And of course, I had to check it out because it sounds just about up my alley. And basically, it just came down to the fact that most Americans have lost faith in the government's ability to protect them during a crisis. And I'm not sure if there's any recent crises where that might have created that mentality, but that's how people are feeling. And 70% of 6,200 people that were surveyed said they have no faith in the government to actually respond to a crisis and help them through an emergency. And that's a huge percentage. Yeah, it's only a pool of 6,200 people, but that still tells you what a lot of people are thinking, at least in the hive mind mentality. Now, a national survey also found that 40 million people think that doomsday is like a year away, which, okay, I mean, I hope not. And I think all of us here hope not, but that's a lot of people that think that could happen. And unfortunately, if you believe in, power of persuasion or anything like that, it's not necessarily the best situation. And of course, the law of attraction, everybody, mentally coming together to say doomsday's next year. Let's hope that doesn't happen, but thanks a lot, everybody who's feeling that way. Either way, I understand why they feel that way because things are not going well. And 108 million people that were surveyed have spent $5,000 at least on preps, on getting stuff ready. Now, I do need to mention the biggest supporter of the channel is Midway USA, where of course you could easily spend $5,000 on preps. And thanks to them, they helped me get out here and prepare and, I don't know, play with stuff like an ACOG. So nothing to complain about, but what I do want to say is, listen, there's a map they put out on this, which was interesting as well, which I'll put a link down in the description as well as in the pinned comment to this article, so you can just check it out because it just is good for us to kind of see this mainstream adoption of the preparedness movement and the fact that more and more people are getting that same thought process in their mind of, I'm not really feeling good about the way things are going. And, I'm not really sure about how this country is shaping up. So we should probably start putting some money into making sure we're taken care of during an emergency. And I find that to be a good thing, but it's also slightly concerning because if everybody's starting to feel that way, there's probably a good reason for it, and then I'm concerned about what that leads to eventually. Now, that map is going to show that Nebraska, at least based on this poll and this survey that they took, is the most prepared state in the country, according to the amount of resources people have put into their preparedness. And then states like mine, North Dakota, isn't even listed because they didn't really have enough people respond to it, which they clearly didn't try to contact me because, hopefully I would have helped with that curve a little bit. I don't know. But regardless, this is just where the mainstream media is at this point, in the sense of understanding that the average person is not necessarily a big fan of the way things are going. Yes, I know the Washington Examiner is not mainstream media per se, but I would say any legacy or well-established media corporation at this point is not necessarily alternative media either. So keep that in mind. Very biased website, obviously, but still good information to kind of ponder on and consider, especially as someone who wants to be prepared, just because more people are getting into it, which is good for the community. More people are getting prepared, which is good for all of our survivability post an SHTF scenario. But the other thing to keep in mind is that, and this is me saying this the best way possible without sounding like a bad person, but it also creates a lot more competition. And when I say that, what I mean is the resources and the supplies and the things that people tend to prep, well, if they're more sought after, they'll become more expensive and harder to acquire. So just keep that in mind as well. I mean, that's what we should want. We want this community to be strong and well-rounded and diverse and have lots of people in it, but we also want to be able to get the stuff that we need to be prepared. Just throwing it out there. So let me know what you think about the article down in the comments below. I just thought it was some interesting data points, especially based on the way things are going right now. And I'm gonna actually go do a ruck with this pretty heavy backpack, and pretty soon we'll actually have an update video on the bug out bag because I took a lot of y'all's advice, which is what I try to do here on this channel. I'm not an expert. I'm trying to figure things out for the best situations I can put together for myself and then learn from everybody's critiques and feedback. And I actually took a lot of that to heart from the last bug out bag video. And so this is more refined, a little bit more specific as to what I find, priority of importance with. And, it keeps everything inside of the bag rather than strapped all over the outside. So thanks for everybody's feedback on that. Look forward to that video to come out relatively soon. If you need anything else from me, you can go to magicprepper.com where there's lots of discount codes and all kinds of stuff as well. And there's Subscribe Star if you want to support me in that sense, which I'm not going to say no to, but if you aren't able to do that, I'm totally fine with that, because all you need to do is actually watch this video, maybe like, subscribe, whatever you want to do. And besides that, that's going to be it for Magic Prepper.